Hello and welcome to Indus News, live from Islamabad. I am Munib Hamid with the news of this hour. Let's begin with the top stories first. The US says it is concerned by the affiliations and track records of some of the members of the Afghan caretaker government. In a statement, State Department spokesperson Ned Price said the US will judge the Taliban by their actions, not words. Earlier, President Joe Biden said he is certain that China will try to work out an arrangement with the Taliban. Iran says no one can pressure it to halt its nuclear activities since the other parties to the 2015 deal have not fulfilled their obligations. Iran's IAEA envoy says the pact with the United Nations watchdog on monitoring activities has already expired, and the agency must maintain professionalism and refrain from politically motivated reports. This comes after International Atomic Energy Agency chided Iran for allegedly failing to explain uranium traces found at 3 undeclared sites. The Pakistani nation is observing Navy Day today to commemorate the iconic sacrifices of the martyrs of the 1965 war with India. In a message, Chief of the Naval Staff Admiral Muhammad Amjad Khan Niazi paid homage to the martyrs and brave heroes of the war. Mexico has registered more than 1,000 daily deaths from COVID-19 and nearly 16,000 new cases. In Pakistan, the virus has claimed 83 more lives and infected nearly 4,000 people overnight. Globally, the coronavirus death toll has exceeded 4.58 million, while the caseload is approaching 222 million. At least 41 people have been killed and 80 others injured in a fire that broke out at a prison in Indonesia's Banten province. Authorities say an investigation is underway to find the cause of the fire. And in tennis, Felix Auger-Aliassime has moved into the US Open semi-final with a 6-3 and 3-1 victory over Spanish teenager Carlos Alcaraz. Meanwhile, Canadian Leylah Fernandez battled past Ukraine's Elena Svitolina 6-3, 3-6 and 7-6 to also reach the semi-final. News in detail after a short break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now let's have the news in detail. The US says it is concerned by the affiliations and track records of some of the members of the Afghan caretaker government. In a statement, State Department spokesperson Ned Price said the US will judge the Taliban by their actions, not words. As soon as the Taliban announced their interim government, mixed reaction from the world started to pour in. The US said it expects the Taliban will ensure that Afghan soil is not used to threaten any other countries. Ned Price said Washington will continue to hold the Taliban to their commitments to allow safe passage out of Afghanistan. Earlier, President Joe Biden said China has problems with the Taliban, but it will certainly try to work out an arrangement with them. The UN says only negotiated and inclusive settlements will bring sustainable peace to Afghanistan. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said he will closely follow the new government's future course. And Pakistan says it is hosting a virtual meeting with countries neighboring Afghanistan to discuss the situation there. Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi will preside over the meeting for a shared objective of peaceful Afghanistan. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization has warned over 2,000 Afghan healthcare facilities might cease operation due to the pause in international funding. Moving on now, Iran says no one can pressure it to halt its nuclear activities since the other parties to the 2015 deal have not fulfilled their obligations. Iran's IAEA envoy says the pact with the UN watchdog on monitoring activities has already expired. Talking to reporters, Kazim Gharibabadi said the agency must maintain professionalism and neutrality. He also called on the watchdog to refrain from what he termed politically motivated reports. This comes after International Atomic Energy Agency chided Iran for allegedly failing to explain uranium traces found at 3 undeclared sites. The agency said Iran's stockpile of 60% enriched uranium has now reached 10 kilograms. The Pakistani nation is observing Navy Day today to commemorate the iconic sacrifices of the martyrs of 1965 war with India. In a message, Chief of the Naval Staff, Admiral Muhammad Amjad Khan Niazi paid homage to the martyrs and brave heroes of the war. He reiterated Pakistan Navy's resolve to defend the motherland till the end. On the 8th of September 1965, Pakistan Navy bombarded the Indian port of Dwarka during Operation Somnath. The swift and precise action destroyed important shore installations, including the Indian radar station. Navy Day is also in commemoration of P&O lone submarine Ghazi's historic achievement in 1965. It reigned supreme and remained unchallenged at sea throughout the war. Now, Mexico has registered more than 1,000 daily deaths from COVID-19 and nearly 16,000 new cases. Globally, the coronavirus death toll has exceeded 4.5 million, while the caseload is approaching 222 million. More details about the pandemic in this report.
Surging infections, new variants, and unjust global distribution of vaccines continue to dampen the efforts of fighting the pandemic. In the U.S., the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has warned against traveling to Sri Lanka, Jamaica, and Brunei. President Joe Biden is expected to present a 6-pronged strategy against the spread of the Delta variant and to increase vaccinations in the country. Meanwhile, a U.S. medical expert says the pandemic is far more likely to have come from nature than through a laboratory accident.
Modern virology labs around the world take extraordinary precautions for the security of their products, and the personal protective equipment for virologists working with potentially serious agents is very fastidious, and I think it would be very improbable that a lab accident were responsible for this release.
A Geneva-based global aid fund has warned that excess deaths from AIDS and tuberculosis in poor countries could even exceed those from the coronavirus itself amid the distorted healthcare system due to the pandemic. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization has slammed richer nations for stockpiling vaccines as many underdeveloped countries struggle to get them. The organization's researchers say hoarding of vaccines, therapeutics, and other tools is not only immoral, but also prolonging the pandemic.
It is the hoarding of these materials. We saw it in the beginning of the pandemic with PPE. But this is not just unfair, it's not just immoral, it's prolonging the pandemic, and it is resulting in people dying. And I think we need to be blunt. I think we need to be very clear that this is prolonging the pandemic. We have tools. We have enough vaccine around the world. If we had used the vaccine doses that were available differently, we would be in a very different situation right now globally. But it's the same thing with PPE. It's the same thing with the therapeutics.
Meanwhile, India has reported 369 more deaths and nearly 3,800 new cases over the past 24 hours. Australia has locked down Sydney and Melbourne amid the latest outbreaks of the highly infectious Delta variant. The country's state of New South Wales reported nearly 1,500 new locally acquired cases, up from 1,220 a day earlier. Meanwhile, in Japan, a third man has died after taking the contaminated Moderna vaccine.
Meanwhile, in Pakistan, coronavirus has claimed 83 more lives over the past 24 hours, while the Health Ministry says the nationwide death toll has crossed 26,400. It said the virus infected more than 3,900 people overnight. The country's caseload has exceeded 1.19 million, while over 1,071,000 people have recovered. Health officials say over 91,000 cases are still active in the country, and nearly 5,400 of them are in critical condition. Pakistan has administered over 64.5 million COVID-19 shots to date. Now, at least 41 people have been killed in a fire that broke out at a prison in Indonesia's Banten province. Authorities say 80 others are injured, while 8 of them have suffered severe burns. They say the incident at the Tangerang jail happened early in the morning when most inmates were asleep. Officials say the fire has been extinguished. An investigation is underway to find the cause of the fire. According to government data, the prison in Tangerang housed more than 2,000 inmates, far exceeding its 600 capacity. Now, in Mexico, at least 17 patients have died after heavy rainfall caused flooding at a hospital in central Hidalgo state. Officials say a river burst its banks and water then cut the power supply in the hospital in the town of Tula. They say some of the victims were COVID-19 patients who were being treated with oxygen therapy. Rescue workers evacuated more than 40 other patients from the hospital. Authorities say about 2,000 houses were also damaged by the floods as per initial assessment. Meanwhile, a 7-magnitude earthquake has struck the country's southwest, killing at least one man who was crushed by a falling post. Officials say the tremor, which hit near the beach resort of Acapulco, pitched large boulders onto roads, causing power outages. Now, Myanmar's military junta has released controversial Buddhist monk Ashin Wirathu, known for his anti-Muslim rhetoric. Wirathu had previously been charged for sedition against the civilian government. The FIREBRAND monk is known for his pro-military views and also for his speeches against Rohingya Muslims. In 2019, he was also charged with inciting hate and contempt against the civilian government. He was catapulted over his speeches in 2012 when violence erupted in Rakhine State between Muslims and Buddhists. Now, in Guinea, the soldiers who seized power over the weekend consolidate their takeover with the installation of army officers in 8 regions. West African countries have threatened sanctions following the overthrow of President Alpha Condé. He was serving a 3rd term after altering the constitution to permit it, which his opponent said was illegal. Regional leaders will meet to discuss the situation on Wednesday. Coup leader Mamadi Doumbouya has promised a transitional government of national unity and a new era for governance and economic development. Now, the EU wants Poland to be fined over new laws which the bloc says undermine the country's judicial independence. The European Commission said it has asked the European Court of Justice to impose financial penalties on Warsaw to ensure compliance. In a statement, Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said the justice systems across the European Union must be independent and fair, while a Polish minister has called the measures acts of aggression. In July, the ECJ determined that Poland's disciplinary chamber did not guarantee impartiality or independence, putting it at odds with European Union laws. More news coming up after a short break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now, at least 23 people, including 3 children, have been killed after a bus plunged off a cliff in central Bolivia. Officials say 13 others were also injured in the incident and were taken to nearby hospitals. Police said the cause of the accident is being investigated. However, the driver tells brake failure to be the cause of the crash. A teen pilot has touched down in Costa Rica in her bid to become the youngest woman to fly solo around the globe. The 19-year-old Zara Rutherford took off from Western Belgium in her Shark ultra-light aircraft. She seeks to win the title from Shaista Weiss, who became the youngest woman to fly solo around the world at 30. Rutherford is looking to cover 51,000 kilometers. Her route will take about 3 months with stops in 52 countries. The British-Belgian hopes her voyage will encourage more girls to study and work in science and spark their interest in aviation. Kuwait has started recycling more than 42 million old vehicle tyres dumped in one of the world's largest tyre graveyards. Details in this report.
In a bid to tackle its waste problem, Kuwait recently moved the tires from the dump site to a new location at Al Salmi, where recycling efforts have begun. The original dump site was just 7 kilometers from a residential suburb, with the periodic fires releasing black smoke bothering the residents. The Al Khair group, which transported 25 million tires using up to 500 trucks a day, plans to open a factory to burn the tires through pyrolysis.
The tires are made of a base of rubber and black carbon. The technology we're going to bring to Kuwait is pyrolysis, through which we will be able to extract black carbon and oil, or what is called bunker oil, in order to be recycled and used as diesel or high-quality fuel. And the black carbon is used as a raw material.
At a plant run by EPSCO, Global General Trading employs sort and shred scrap tires before pressing the particles into flooring tiles. The recycling company says the EPSCO plant, which began operations in January 2021, can recycle up to 3 million tires a year.
The factory is helping society by cleaning up the dumped old tires and turning them into consumer products and other useful products that could be used elsewhere in the country. It also has many environmental and non-environmental benefits.
Scrap tires are a major environmental problem worldwide due to their bulk and the chemicals they can release. Kuwait's government hopes Al Salmi will become a tire recycling hub with more factories planned.
Now, shares in the Asia-Pacific are trading mixed as data showed Japan's economy growing faster than an earlier estimate. In Japan, the Nikkei 225 rose nearly 8%. Mainland China's Shanghai Composite also advanced fractionally. South Korea's Kospi shed close to 8%. The ASX 200 in Australia declined around 0.25%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index shed nearly 0.25% as well. El Salvador has become the first country to accept Bitcoin as a legal tender. The move has got the nation and the world debating the opportunities and dangers of cryptocurrency. Businesses will now be obliged where possible to accept the controversial digital coins as payment. Millions of people are expected to download the government's new digital wallet application. The application gives away $30 in Bitcoin to every citizen. Bitcoin fans around the world have been buying $30 worth of the coins to help boost the value of the volatile currency. Now, our correspondent Sumaira Khan has an exclusive report on the Pakistan Air Force's Kalar Kahar base. She will be updating us about the highly specialized and tough training routine of the Special Services personnel of Pakistan Air Force, which enables them to always stay prepared for all kinds of security situations and threats. Let's get an insight.
Whenever we talk about 7th September, which is always celebrated as Pakistan's Air Defense Day, and it has a history that we derive from 1965. But as of now, if living in a modern age, when we talk about 7th September, it is year 2021. Let me give you a different perspective of 7th September with regards to Pakistan Air Force. Right now, I'm present here at a base which is exclusively dedicated to Special Services Group of Pakistan Air Force, and I'm sure, I believe that you must have not heard about it prior to this program that we are recording here for Indus News right now. And this is the vicinity where one of the brilliant force is being trained, and they are ready to tackle any kind of situation, any kind of untoward scene, whether it's a terrorist activity, whether it's an assault, whether it's a hostage scenario. scenario, or whether I just bet if it's any kind of situation, the forces are brilliantly ready to tackle that challenge for the sake of securing motherland. Right now, I am present here at the Kalar Kahar base, which is associated with the Pakistan Air Force, and as I said, that it is dedicated to the Special Services Wing of Pakistan Air Force, the commandos of Pakistan. So today I'll be interviewing the key personalities here who are looking after the airbase, looking after the base, and those who are looking after the ranges as well. We'll be witnessing the training area, we'll be witnessing the firing range, and we'll be speaking to the personalities who are right now in charge of all these sensitive vicinities. We are really thankful to the Pakistan Air Force, those who provided us the opportunity, and we are the first television who got this opportunity to record this program over here. Prior to this program, it was just a prerogative of diplomats and other dignitaries of the country and foreign dignitaries to visit this very sensitive installation, but we are the ones who are recording this full-fledged program here. So I'll be speaking to the base commander in a while, and I just want to show this beautifully built one of Pakistan's most sensitive installation in the country, and this is Kalar Kahar's outskirts, and we are here to record this a beautiful program with brilliant force of Pakistan. So let's start our program and we'll see who we talk about this. Where I'm standing right now is the place that is called Kalar Kahar Special Services Wing of Pakistan Air Force. It is the exclusive Special Services Wing that is also called Commandos, and it is equivalent to SSG Commando Force. You can see that 110 personnel are right now, they're getting trained right now. They'll be graduated to the next level of their training, and you can also see that they are going through different phases of their training. And those training phases are called, it is called combat exercises, and it also includes the scenario-based training exercises and firing, etc. Some exercises cannot be named due to the classified kind of stature of there, but they can be seen here on camera. We'll be speaking to someone here who and they can better explain that how they are getting trained over here, why they are getting trained here, and what is the compulsion to get selected to be amongst the contingent. The basic idea of the training of these special services forces is it is based on the ideology of martyrdom, patriotism towards their country, and it is all about Pakistan. So you can see these brave soldiers of Pakistan right now, but they are associated with Pakistan Air Force, as SSG commandos are associated with different contingents of Pakistan Navy and Pakistan Armed Forces. So you can see them, and we'll be speaking to them in a while, so just have a glimpse of them. One of the trainees who's going to be graduated in a couple of days right now, Flight Lieutenant Rizwan Habib, is with me right now, and let me ask him a few questions. That what is this training is all about, why he is here, and what was his aim to achieve by being here as a member of Special Services Wing. So let me ask these questions from him directly. Let's see what he has to say about it. Why you are basically for the youth of Pakistan?
Pakistan Air Force specifically, we deal with the defense of our bases. We are here to practice unarmed combat, armed combat, so that we will be capable to handle any kind of insurgency, to be better capable to defend our bases.
Just tell us briefly that what is happening right now. How many phases are yet to come in the phases of these trainings? You are going to be graduated in a couple of days, but what next? What is going next? What is going to be next, like in plain words?
Actually, we started from weapon training, then we have now been training on unarmed combat. Basically, when we have no weapon, we can deal with the enemy by using unarmed combat, like we are doing judo. The demonstration have been carried out earlier. And afterwards, there are different phases. We have advanced training as well in this phase. In this phase, we were actually having the basic training. We have trained ourselves for very basic steps, and inshallah, hopefully, further stages will be coming back again for advanced training as well.
So we can say that actually you guys will be ready to deal with any kind of challenging situation in the country wherever you are called there.
Inshallah, we'll be ready, and we are ready. We took deal with any kind of situation. You have seen as well the way we are being trained. Inshallah, we will deal with anything that is going to happen.
And what's the morale level of your accomplices here?
You have seen as well, the morale is sky high. There is no limit. Inshallah, we'll defend our country.
Thank you so much. This was Flight Lieutenant Rizwan Habib, and he's one of the trainees here. And he along with his other colleagues and other trainees, he'll be graduated to the next advanced levels soon. So right now we are here at the firing range of Color Kahar Special Services Wing of Pakistan Air Force. Let's see what else we explore here. Stay tuned.
And appendix. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4.
We'll be speaking to Squadron Leader Usman Akram in a while, and he's officer commanding here. He's representing Pakistan Air Force's Special Services Wing over here. And if in simple terms I can term it, then we should say that he looks after the entire vicinity, where you just saw some glimpses of the training area, the firing range, the tower rappelling, and the compound clearance area, where he'll be further explaining it technically. And I think I think we should let the expert do the talkings. So we'll be going towards Squadron Leader Usman Akram, what he has to say about how they are handling this area, how they are handling the trainees over here. Let's talk to him.
My name is Squadron Leader Usman Akram. I'm Officer Commanding Special Services Wing at PAF Base Color Kahar. Our day starts with physical training after morning prayers. After that, our general classes are held. Then training is conducted at the combat training zone, where we are present at the moment. Here, training is conducted at the 72-feet rappelling tower and the close-quarter battle complex that you can see behind me. There are two categories of trainees. First one are the commandos, and second, those security personnel who come from all over Pakistan for specialized training. We train them in different aspects of combat, like weapons handling, firing, and various other forms of training. Meanwhile, our specialized people train in foreign exercises and different other specialized courses. This kind of tough training highly specializes our soldiers in different combat forms, as you just witnessed in a demonstration. We are always prepared for all kinds of security conditions at all the bases of PAF. We have a specialized squadron called the Anti-Terrorist Squadron. Whenever they are ordered, they immediately move to the required location within 20 minutes. Our high level of preparedness is through our tough training that continues from morning till night. In 2010, our top command decided to carry out mass inductions in the security department. Therefore, all our personnel, even the technicians, are well trained at the grassroots level to handle all kinds of security situations at any base of PAF. Our training is undertaken in a step-by-step process. Firstly, our personnel learn the basics. Then we move on to advanced training to push them on a level where they are able to manage threats on their own until the quick response force reaches the attack site. This training that you witnessed, which contained different methods of combat, is carried out for a purpose. It is so that our trainees are able to quickly respond to situations like a hostage scenario or where killing has been initiated. There are also other forms of different improvised trainings like jungle warfare, which enables us to handle all kinds of threats and situations.
As I introduced earlier, that I'm present here at Pakistan Air Force's Color Kahar base, and as I said that we are going to speak to the base commander, and right now I'm here at the office of base commander, Pakistan Air Force Base Color Kahar. Group Captain Maqsood Akhtar is with us, and we are going to just put up a few simple questions, that how he looks after the affairs and the operational sensitivities of this base. So sir, a warm welcome to you in a show of of Indus News.
Thank you very much for coming here at PF Base Color Car, and we also warmly welcome you.
Thank you so much, sir. So, first question about the base: why it's so sensitive, and what is its exclusivity? And give us a brief introduction of this base, when it was founded, and why you felt need to have the space for Special Services Wing.
Basically, the base, initially it was conceived, the idea was conceived in 1999, and initially it was shifted in 2000. It was Special Services Wing, where the people from various areas have done the initial commando courses from the army, and they were gathered here that we should have an independent Special Services Wing placed at this place. So I was among one of the pioneers. At that time, I was a young flying officer who visited this place, and then we recommend this place to the Air Force that we should have an independent Special Services Wing. So we placed it in 2002. It started, and in 2015 it was then changed from the wing to the base, and then again the Air Force, because in 2012 to 15 there were attacks on the Air Force bases, so the Air Force authorities directed this base that we should start, as far as the special operations is concerned, at parallel we should have the training of our security forces, that we should train them to counter any type of terrorist activities. So for that, another ground combat school was added to this, and today it is running a lot of courses for the security forces of the Air Force. So we conduct various courses for the security forces of Pakistan Air Force, which are placed, and they perform their duties at each base to protect it against any type of the nefarious design of our adversaries.
So, how can we simply comment that for like how long the trainees and those who have graduated from this combat school of this specific wing, like for how long, how many years have passed by that the cadets are taking part in the actual combat activities alongside the other SSG forces of Navy and the military?
Since 2002, when the base came into existence, and then the initial Special Services Wing. So since the counter-terrorism operation started in Pakistan, so we were the initial participant even in the Swat and Waziristan operations. So this wing was a part of that. And since then, we are available to the Pakistan Air Force for any type of such like operations.
Right. And so, can you just briefly tell us about what is the strength right now that you are having it right now at the airbase? And specifically, if we speak about this sensitive and one of the forces obviously considered one of the powerful force of the entire armed forces, if we talk about SSGs and commandos of Air Force and Navy and etc. So how do you rate these commandos? Are they, even now, if the situation is fluid or sensitive, are they ready to go to tackle any kind of challenge, or they are specifically being trained to counter the terrorist activities?
No, sir. We would love to go for any type of operations which the Air Force will give us, and we are the same as of the Army and Navy. So there is no difference between the training and between the preparations. So anytime the Air Force will call us, and we are ready, yes. And it will be, a happy moment for each and one of us that we go and just jump into such like situation.
So we'll come back to the training spectrum and a little bit technicalities later, but for the consumption of a common man in Pakistan, what is the difference? Because whenever we talk about 7th September, we are always thinking about jets and aerial dogfight and everything, GF-17s, F-16s. What is the difference between other air bases and this particular base of Pakistan Air Force for the consumption of common man?
This base is specifically for, for the ground special operations, as well as I have told you for the counter-terrorism operations. Plus, we trained the security element of Pakistan Air Force to train them. Pakistan Air Force always is best when they come into the air. The combat fight, and you have seen it, we are proud to have the fighter, pilots with us and other pilots with us who perform duty day and night for us. But when we see the machine, when it is on the ground, it's vulnerable. So to protect it on the ground, it's required a specialist teams. So for the preparation of those teams to secure such like machines on ground, so we are here to train them, as well as if we want any country who look towards us as an adversary, we will give a punch them, or as far as the ground is concerned, we will cross the border and go there and do our mission.
So you are the man who protects the machine of Air Force, and you are there to secure every inch of every sensitive installation of Pakistan Air Force. That's very clear. Sir, can we come to if you can just explain a bit for us that what's the technical spectrum, the technical side of the training? Can you just highlight for us that what kind of training courses you are having for the cadets and trainees, and how do what's the time frame to get those courses completed for them?
There are various courses we run, right from, there is a week time frame also, there is a month time frame, and there is 2 months. And for us, when we go and do the Special Forces course, it's a 1-year course. So it's a tri-services course, and we qualify that course when we want to come to this special base. And to come to this special base, the attrition rate for the courses is almost 90%. Is the attrition. So out of 100, only 10 qualified maximum. So, the quality of people here, you can well imagine. And then when we use our instructors, and they do the instructional duties, so they don't bring, they don't leave any gaps in the training.
And so last question, what are the achievements of this specific Air Force base? Can you just highlight a bit?
The best achievement in my thing is, when this terrorism aspect starts. So the biggest contribution about that we were not prepared to get such like, asymmetric warfare and the unconventional way of, attacking such like places, the bases and the soft targets. We were not prepared initially. But since we have taken over as a training also, one of this Quran Combat School has taken over the training. So since then, the bases, by the grace of Almighty Allah, are safe, and the training, that the people are well trained, and now nobody can dare to look towards us.
Thank you so much. This was Base Commander, Group Captain Maqsood Akhtar, and he's right now Base Commander, Pakistan Air Forces, Air Base Color Kahar. And when we, as I just said earlier, when we talk about 7th September, we are always thinking about, and whenever we talk about air bases, we are always thinking about fighter jets and aircrafts and everything, and aerial dogfights. But this was the first time that we brought another angle of a PAF base for the audience and the viewers. So it was our first effort to bring to you a different angle of a combat force, which is one of the best forces of the country, not just the country but globally. And I've just heard that this base is also achieving many medals, and they're attaining best grades in the international military games as well across the globe. So I'll be signing off my program from Color Kahar base of Pakistan Air Force, and this will be the entire content for you regarding 7th September, the Defense Day of Pakistan, which we derive to celebrate always, obviously. We derive it from the 1965 war, but right now in the modern age, we are having different angles of security, and our best man and our best men are totally ready to secure the motherland. This was Sumaira Khan doing this special show for Indus News, signing off.
Well, that was our correspondent Sumaira Khan with an exclusive report on Pakistan Air Force's Color Kahar base. And now we shall have a look into how the weather is doing around the globe with Hira Mustafa.
Welcome to the weather forecast. We're going to start with Abu Dhabi, where weather is expected to be hot with temperatures rising to 40 degrees Celsius. While in Amsterdam, sunny weather is expected while temperatures are steady at 26 degrees Celsius. If we head to Ankara, there is also sunny weather with temperatures at 27 degrees Celsius. Moving down under to Auckland, the temperature is chilly at 12 degrees Celsius with rain in forecast. Now, if you're traveling to Bangkok, there will be thunderstorm with temperatures around 29 degrees Celsius. In Beijing, temperatures are at 28 degrees Celsius, accompanied with thin layer of clouds in the sky. While Beirut will also experience partly sunny weather with temperatures at 30 degrees Celsius. Meanwhile, Berliners will experience temperatures at 24 degrees Celsius accompanied with thin layer of clouds in the sky. Heading to Cairo, the sun will be out when temperatures at 37 degrees Celsius with clear sunny sky in the forecast. Down under in Canberra, the temperatures are at 16 degrees Celsius with partly cloudy weather today. In Islamabad, temperatures are at 28 degrees Celsius with layer of clouds covering the sky. While in Jakarta, the temperatures are steady at 32 degrees Celsius with rain expected today. That's all for now. Back to you.
Well, thank you, Hira, for the weather updates. And with that, we come to the end of this news bulletin. For the latest updates, you can follow us on social media at Indus.news.